Today's guest is Crystal Jordan. Crystal Jordan is an autism advocate, author, philanthropist, publisher, and co founder of Becoming Her Magazine. Driven by a passion for empowering women, she founded Sisterhood Publishing, dedicated to helping moms and grandmothers become published authors, ensuring their stories create lasting legacies. Welcome, Crystal.
Thank you for having me.
Great. It's a pleasure to have you. I don't even know where to start. Your focus is autism, and you said it started with your son being diagnosed at 2 years old.
Correct.
Let's talk about that.
So before I talk about him being diagnosed, I got to give the backstory because I want parents to understand I'm just like them, but I'm just a little bit different. But my son was diagnosed at 2. You are 100% correct. But when he was 8 months, his doctor actually told me, hey, I think Zachariah is autistic. She's not qualified to say he's autistic, but she has a son who's also autistic, while she said it. And one of my best friends was telling me, hey, I think Zach is autistic. But I brushed it off. And my son godmom said the same thing. I brushed it off. Fast forward him turning 1. And the signs was there, but I didn't know what autism was. But when he turned 1, he wasn't talking. So I said, that's a big milestone. So I still brushed it off. He turned 2. He did not have any words in his vocabulary. And we had started speech. The speech therapist had did it was an autism test online. He had 14 red markers for autism. Okay. So then I went to my son's doctor. I walked in May 2019. She don't normally take walk-ins. And when I went in, she said, I know you're ready. And she gave me the referral because she don't take walk-ins because she's so busy.
Right.
Yeah. It was, when I say my testimonial is powerful, it's powerful. Then she gave me the referral for Marcus in location in Atlanta, Georgia. And when she gave me the referral, my son was diagnosed with autism October 2019.
Oh my.
And then when he was diagnosed, I would never forget. I took him to the fair that same day. I grieved who I thought he was. I cried. I enjoyed him. I embraced him. Then that morning, I started calling ABA, speech, OT to find services to get him what he needed. I started the SSI part. Everything he needed, I started. And the reason why I did that so quickly, if you pay attention, I literally ignored the markers or the people saying he was autistic in the beginning. But when I finally got it in black and white, I knew it was time for me to push and advocate for him and be his voice. So that's how I got started that's not how I got started as an advocate, but that's how I got started as me stepping my toe into autism.
Wow. So the indicator there was him not speaking at the age of 1.
Yep. And I still brushed that off until he was 2.
Wow. Can you share a little about your journey as a mother raising a child with autism? And I know you just kind of brushed on that a little bit now, but.
No, that's a great question. My journey with raising a child with autism is not easy. It's a lot of work. Sometimes it's stressful because my son is nonverbal. I remember, and I don't have these moments as much now. I remember the moments of feeling like I wasn't doing enough, feeling like I'm letting my child down, feeling like I don't know enough information to make sure he succeed in life. I had difficult moments, just like any other mom, but mine are amplified higher because my child is nonverbal. But I can't ask my child how he's feeling. I have to figure out when he's sick. I have to figure out when he's hungry, or when he wants something, or when he's hurt, because he also have a high tolerance for pain. So being a mom and raising an autistic child, it has its challenges. But the beautiful things for me that I learned from my son is patience and celebrating the small wins. For example, he just started really taking himself to the bathroom. For me, that's a win.
That is.
That's when he's 7.
Small or big, it's a win.
It don't matter. It's a win.
That's right.
He's 7, but him taking himself to the bathroom wins. And this is another small win I celebrate. Him starting to get himself dressed win.
That's right.
That's a win. I remember
That's
we
right.
did it last year. So raising a kid with autism, or as most people say, an autistic kid, it's a beautiful journey.
Mm,
I have my ups and downs. It's a roller coaster because the wait lists are long for
hmm.
services. I have right now, even as an advocate, I have problems getting him services in our community. And it would breaks my heart is services are available in the communities that's not mainly POC. And that
Right.
is heartbreaking to know that the area code I have to travel across the state or across town to get him the
Oh,
services he
wow.
needs. And that to me, that's heartbreaking. And these are
Yes.
conversations that we have to have that people are afraid to have because they don't want any backlash from social media or the world.
Oh, my goodness. Wow. So, as an autism advocate, what do you believe are the most pressing issues families face today?
Whew, okay.
And how can we work towards a positive change?
I love that question. So I want to say something before that question. I
Okay.
want to say this to people. I actually did not ever call myself an advocate in the beginning. I literally wrote a book just to have my son and other Black kids represented on, like, just have them represented because I feel like when I was looking for books that looked like my son, I saw
Hmm.
books that looked like that was Caucasian kids, not Black kids that was autistic. And for me, that was a problem. And I wanted to write a book for fun, and I'm here. And people start calling me an advocate, and God told me I was an advocate. And that's really how I became an advocate. But back to your question, how can parents, what was your question?
Well, I said, as an autism advocate, what do you believe are the most pressing issues families face today?
That was the question. Okay. To
Hmm.
answer your question, my biggest thing that I'm focusing on now is making sure autistic people get jobs. Because again,
Right.
my son is going to become an adult and he's nonverbal, and I need him to be able to have job security. I need more inclusion in the world because that's a problem. Right now he's 7, but I'm thinking about when he's 27.
That's right.
So my mindset is so far ahead. So my
Hmm.
issues and what I want people to focus on now is if you have a small company, are you going to hire somebody who's autistic today? Or are you going to hire somebody to have Down syndrome today? Or are you going to hire somebody who's blind today? Or are you going to hire somebody who's hard of hearing or cannot speak? That is the real question, and that's the real issue that I think people in jobs and actually the major companies need to ask themselves: how many
That's
people have we hired that have disabilities? And it should not be a quota; it should be a necessity.
that's right. That's right.
Thank
Right. And they should fall under like diversity and inclusion and things like that.
No, companies have to have a quota that they want to meet,
Hmm.
but I think it should go beyond that quota. And let's say your quota is hypothetically 500.
Right.
Add
Right.
additional 500 more individuals like that to make sure they get a job. You know how many special needs people probably can't even get a job because the company won't give them a chance. And I'm pretty sure that person that you think is special needs is probably better at their job. It's somebody who's neurotypical. And neurotypical is society standard of normal. That's how I break that word
Mhm.
down because nobody would ever hear me use the word of, oh, you acting normal or you are normal. That is not how I operate.
And that's true. And that's true. So what are your thoughts on like how can we work towards a positive change?
So one thing I think we can work on is when we go to our jobs, we can ask HR, "Hey, have you thought
Hmm.
about hiring autistic people?" And then they ask, let's say they ask about trainings. Is
Hmm.
nonprofits that have training for autistics to learn how to work with them and work with their special needs or whatever issue they may be having. Also, when it comes to companies, ask yourself, do you have sensory days? I just seen my local Walmart has sensory days for autistic individuals, and I was very impressed. So
Yes.
if we can have more companies understanding that 1 out of 36 kids are diagnosed with autism after 2024, according to the CDC, as long as we can understand that number and don't look at it as a spike, look at it as more families are being educated, awareness is out there, but now we need to focus on the word acceptance. And how can we work on acceptance? Let's work on inclusion. Let's talk to these companies.
Right.
Let's in the schools. What can I do in my son or my daughter's school to set a standard for the next autistic child that comes in here? How can I make this autistic child feel like they belong and not make them feel out of place? If you see an autistic child have a breakdown, how can I help that child?
That's right. That's right. Wow.
Thank you.
That's a very, very good response. And I just love the fact of how well informed you are.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I
Yeah.
can't call myself
Because
an
you
advocate if I don't know stats. I can't call myself an advocate if I don't talk to autistic people. And I
that's
honestly think that I am autistic, but it's so expensive as an adult to get tested because the markers from
really
my childhood are there and the markers in my adulthood are there as well, but it's expensive. But my issue with other advocates is we have to understand what we're advocating for. It's a bigger picture. That's why I told you earlier it's bigger than my son. I'm thinking about job security for him when he's older.
yes,
I'm not thinking
right.
he's 7 right now, but I understand that. And of course I advocate for him all the time, but I'm literally thinking about his future. I'm
That's
thinking about his
right.
trust fund. I'm thinking about how I can put money aside for him to be able to be secure. I'm so big on my life insurance. I up my life insurance every year, but
Hmm.
when I pass, that money would be his, but he can live a comfortable life. Even if he do need assistance, he will still be okay.
That is so true. That is so true. So, what advice would you give to other parents who may be just starting their journey with an autism diagnosis?
My advice would be breathe and get ready. Get ready to advocate for your baby. Get ready to love on your child. Get ready to accept your child. Get ready to create an environment and community that will embrace who your kid is. Also, get ready to just be embraced into the community. There's so many amazing groups on Facebook that you can reach out to, and also
Hmm.
give yourself grace.
That's right.
Sometimes we push ourselves and we pour from a half empty cup. I
That's
always
right.
tell moms and dads, it's okay. It's okay not to be okay. It's okay to cry because I'm
Hmm.
pretty sure you thought your child was gonna be this, but it's okay. Your child's gonna be better than what you thought. Grieve that, let it go,
Hmm.
breathe, embrace, move on, and advocate.
That's good stuff. And that brings me to this question: how important is acceptance?
Love that question. How important is acceptance? So the reason
Hmm.
I love that question so much because I feel like people focus on awareness more than acceptance. For
Hmm.
example, this just went viral on social media. It was this young little girl. I'm not sure if she was autistic, and I don't want to misquote anybody, but she was in there breaking stuff. And if we had the word acceptance in our mind, somebody could have walked up, tried to assist her, calm her
Hmm.
down, or the store manager could be like, maybe the lights are too bright. Let's cut the lights down. Let's see, maybe the music's too loud. If we had acceptance, right now we live in a society where we're judgmental and we're not trying. If it's not our kid, if it's not our
Hmm.
family member, we don't care. We want to talk about it. We want to post about it. The comments were so negative. I seen a comment said, "I don't care if she was autistic. Where's her mom? Did you think that the mom may be in the corner crying because they're embarrassed? Did you think of that? You probably didn't because you're not in those shoes. I've been there when my son went, he had a whole breakdown in the store and
Hmm.
nobody helped me. Everybody just stared.
Really?
Everybody just stared. Nobody helped. And my son is having a moment. But I'm okay because I understand it's something in this store triggering him. I've not had
Right.
one person stop to ask me, isn't anything you need help with? But in
Wow.
their minds, I'm pretty sure they thought it's a badass kid
Hmm.
in their minds.
Hmm.
And even hypothetically, if that was a society badass kid, every all forms of communication is like all behavior is a form of communication. That's what I meant to say. So
Hmm.
the child is communicating. It is up to the adults to understand what that child needs. But not one person helped me. Not one person, not one worker asked, I need help. Nobody. So
That's
I
sad.
understand how when I see those videos, even if the kid is not autistic, I
Hmm.
understand why their parent is where they are. I get it because I've been there. But unfortunately, the society hasn't been there because society thinks this is not normal. It's not normal for you. Prime example,
Mhm.
my son's school. I love my son's school. I love my son's principal. She is amazing. It was this girl. They have an autistic unit. The girl was crying. She had a meltdown. She ran away from the sub teacher. I walked up to help. This is just me. I was going to advocate for all kids, and I went.
Right.
Now I asked. I thought it was the dad at first. I said, "Are you okay? What do you need help with?" I
Mhm.
said, "Are you the dad?" He said, "No." He said, I'm the sub teacher." And I said, "I'm so sorry. Your first day, you're going through that, but she's autistic. She's having a breakdown, and
Mhm.
before I can finish, the principal's coming. My son's teacher is coming. Another teacher is coming to help this child, and no parent. I love my son's school so much. It's public school, by the way. No parent,
Okay.
no parent judged that child. Not one. You know how powerful that is?
Yes.
And like I told the principal the other day, I said, you created an environment where
Mhm.
it's so empowered for those babies. They love on those special needs babies. I was backstory. Last year, I went to my son's school. I'm very involved, and
Mhm.
it was doing Autism Awareness Month. I will never forget. I stopped to stare at the screen, and the screen, it was the principal created this cute slideshow about
Right.
autism awareness and acceptance. And I was looking at the autistic kids on there, and I was just watching. And it was this little boy walking by me, neurotypical, and he said, "Oh, those kids are awesome." And he said that we have to be kind to them. We have to love on them. He not knowing that I'm a mom slash parent to one of these babies that's on the screen. He didn't.
Yes.
And I looked at this little boy. And I forgot everything he said, but it was so positive. He was just talking about the autistic kids in an amazing way. I looked at him. I said, "That is so amazing. Thank you." And he said, "You're welcome." And he walked back to his class.
Uh-huh.
And I went to the front office and I said to the admin, and I told him exactly what I said to you. And they said, "Isn't that beautiful?"
It is.
He didn't even know that you are a mom or just a parent. And he was talking highly. I said, "That's because Principal Grant created an
Yeah.
environment that is undeniable. And I can't stand my apartment complex, but I'm going to stay there until he's done at this school."
Wow.
That's how powerful it is. I can't stand where I stay. But until he's done with this elementary school, I'm going to stay.
Mhm.
And I told her that. I literally just told her that. I saw her during the break. And I said, "I'm going to stay until," and I said, "When you leave, I don't know if I'm going to stay."
Right.
Because I told her it's all about leadership. If your leader is
That's where it
trying,
starts.
it
Mhm.
started the leader. If your
Yep.
leader tank is not, it's not good. And she's a good leader. I watch her deal with these babies. And when I send my son to school, I'm just so carefree. And we just had the best IEP meeting. And she even said out loud, the IEP that I just conducted with the school was the best IEP meeting she ever witnessed. And she's been in the school system for a long time.
Oh
Yep.
my.
Yep. She would tell you. She would tell you like she is amazing. She never saw me in action until that day, because at my son's school, I'm an advocate first, mom second. It depends what day I come in. If I'm coming
Mhm.
in for him,
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be an advocate. But if it's like something fun, a party, I'm mom. But I come
Right.
advocate. Then I'm gonna be honest. Me being advocate first versus mom first have been life changing. My son has got everything he needed this year, but within the school system. I'm not going to say anything else outside of that, because Georgia waitlist for speech OT is ridiculous, and it's
Right.
heartbreaking, to be honest. But in the school system, my son is winning. He's thriving, and it's so amazing.
And that's great.
Thank you.
That's great. I mean, that has to make you feel good to drop your kid off knowing that they're going to take great care.
Oh, my son now can walk himself. Small wins. He can walk himself
Mhm.
to class.
Oh.
Like it's so amazing. And if he get lost, what I love about the school is all of the teachers know who the special need babies are. Isn't that amazing?
That's amazing. Yes.
I went to a field trip. I go to all his field trips. One teacher said, "Hey, Zach." My son, like I said, he's nonverbal. Of course, he
Yeah.
speak back. You just look at him or something. But all of the teachers know all those kids that go into that school. And that right there shows how powerful that principal is to me. And even the parents, we will tell you how much we love her. Now, whenever she retired, we gonna cry. It's gonna be tears of joy, but it gonna also be tears of like, no, because you're
Right.
so good at what she does. And everybody cannot be in a position to be as good as what she does and make sure all her kids, including her special need babies, are taken care of. And what in my son's school was an autistic unit, so all of the kids in his class are autistic, but
Hmm.
they all have different behaviors. So, and to watch how they navigate
Hmm.
that spectrum, powerful.
That is awesome.
Thank
Do
you.
you mind saying what school it is?
Mm-mm.
Or you rather not? Okay, that's understandable. That's understandable.
Safety reasons.
Makes sense. Yes, yes, yes. I just want to give a shout out to the school and for the principal, but yes, I understand that. Safety first.
After her name, Dr. Grant. She know I love her. Dr. Grant is an amazing principal.
Yes, yes.
You need to start her
Awesome.
from school.
Okay. So you're also the co-founder of Becoming Her Magazine. Can you tell us about how that magazine empowers women?
So becoming her magazine was a dream since I was 13 years old. And I
Mm.
asked my business partner, Jasmine Hawkins, to join me on this journey. And we have empowered 300 plus women. We about to hit 2 years.
Wow.
We just hit magazine of the year twice this year. We won that. Um,
Okay.
the reason why it's so powerful is knowing that we have empowered people, women, to use their voice as I'm using mine today is
Hmm.
amazing because our platform is for the everyday woman. You don't have to be famous. Like most platforms are built for celebrities. And I personally feel, and my business partner personally feel, that we have stronger stories that need to be heard more than a celebrity woman. The
That's
women
true.
on our covers are the women that are becoming her every day. The women on our covers are women that you can see walking down the street today, or it can be your neighbor, your sister, your auntie, your niece. Those are the women that we target because our voice matter and we shouldn't be silent. So, Become Her magazine is a platform to empower all women voices, no matter your race, your size. It does only thing we ask, we are a God affirming brand, so we can't do anything or allowing anything that's not of God. So that I leave that there for the audience to decipher. But
Hmm.
we are, and we became a God affirming brand
Love it.
by April. And not
Okay.
it was like a month. It was 2 months in our brand. We became a God affirming brand because God moved my business partner to make our brand a God affirming brand. That's not my story, but that's her part of the brand. I'm really the creative side. I really just like creating. If I can create
Mhm.
all day, I would. But yeah,
Nice. And I did read that you have a degree in fashion.
I do have a degree in fashion. Um,
Okay.
I have not used my fashion degree in a long time, but I
Hmm.
recently just incorporated fashion into the magazine. We're hitting two
Okay.
years, so now we have a segment in the magazine where I will show you how to dress because I've been hearing lately that I'm eating the girls up. Because I used to dress very hoochie.
Oh.
That is not my story. You know what? But I feel like I had to go through that. And
The phase.
I used to sew hoochie stuff. That's not my face no more. I am
Hmm.
so business casual.
Hmm.
I like you can be sexy without showing nothing. I'm just showing my
That's
hand,
right.
and I guarantee I can pull whoever I want. So yeah, that is a segment I just launched. It dropped this
Okay.
month, and I'm just showing you how to be cute in
Right.
fashion trends. But I have not used my fashion green in a long time.
Okay. Now, how do you go about selecting the women for your magazine?
So we select the women. You have to go to our website, becomehermagazine.com to be featured. And once you go there, we read what you're about, and we get back to you within our time frame because we have a lot of women apply. And once
Hmm.
we feel like you are aligned with our brand, we will send you a congratulation email. And when we send you that email, it's going to be a pay link because we don't do free features anymore. We haven't done that in a long time. And then you are featured.
Okay. Awesome. I love it.
Thank
You're doing
you.
great things. So, how do you balance your roles as an author, advocate, publisher, and mom?
How do I balance?
You wear many
Um,
hats.
how do I balance? I don't. I don't think balance is a thing. I'm gonna be
Okay.
honest. I just go with the flow. I do
Mhm.
have a calendar.
Okay.
Right? And I guess I balance through my calendar.
Okay.
So I have mandatory friend dates with my friends. I do that. I also I go running.
Okay.
I guess my balance to answer your question would be me running and me going out with my friends at least once a month to have a mojito
Hmm.
or a cup of coffee. Um,
Self care.
yeah, no alcohol for me. But
Hmm.
that's how I think I'll balance. It's really the calendar, but in real life, I don't think I really balance. I be all over the place. I
Busy.
get everything done, shockingly. I get everything I'm doing done. So I really think that's actually that's my balance. My balance is I spend times with friends through my calendar. I use
That's
my
right.
calendar, and I'm very schedule based. I'm not spontaneous. I'm out of my 20s. I really prefer to have everything set on a calendar and locked in, and then I can schedule my life around that. So my tip is to have a calendar.
That's awesome.
And
That's
I'll think the
awesome.
timer. I time things like when I'm working on my Autism Focus magazine that's dropping in April. I make sure that I put a timer. I need to work on this for 2 hours, and then I have another brand I need to work on that. So I try to give everything a piece of me. I know that sounds
Right.
cool, but I really do try, and
Mhm.
I think I'm killing it, to be honest.
Okay. That's what I'm talking about.
Thank you.
I'm loving that. So, is there a particular moment or experience in your advocacy journey that stands out as particularly impactful for you?
Yes. So this is okay. So I'm just gonna tell the story. I have a friend. I gave her my book just like you
Hmm.
for free. I just gave it to her. And
Okay.
when I gave her the book, I don't know what she did with the book. And months later, she told me she gave it to her neighbor. And
Oh,
I'm listening to her tell the story, just listening to her. And she was like, well, my neighbor, I thought his son was autistic. So he a single dad. And I said, okay. And I gave him your book because she didn't want to offend him, right?
right.
He read the book, liked the book. He never talked to me. He never told me the story. She told me
Okay.
the story. Got his son tested, and guess what? He was autistic.
No.
How powerful is that?
Yes.
And she was telling me this story. I'm just on the phone. You just talking to your girl. I'm just listening to her. Like,
Yeah.
I think she just rambling. When she said that, I said, that's deep. I said, are you telling me that he read my book because in my book, and it's so funny how God is. I literally
Hmm.
put the book for fun, but in my book, I put what is autism. I put the signs and symptoms. I use certain words in the book intentionally for you can understand this conversation that we're having because this conversation is needed. And I also wrote the book as, like I said, as a hobby, but I wrote it as a conversation starter to have this conversation. And to
Okay.
see that a kid got diagnosed because of that book is powerful. Now I
That's
did go
very.
back and revise the book, so it may say advocate in there somewhere. I'm not sure, but
Hmm.
yeah, that is the most powerful thing. And when also, and the next thing that stood out to me as an advocate, I also do free IEPs. I've been doing it for a minute. What stands out to me is me going to the school, me being quiet, and they thinking, "Oh, she's so sweet," and I go in for the kill, and I get whatever that parent asked me to get them for their kid, and I always get it.
Wow.
Yep, and that's not
Right.
even me being cocky or anything. I say that super humble because I go in and my auntie, she died last year.
I'm
She
sorry
taught
to
me,
hear that.
I'm okay. I love her, but she taught me a lot. She told me to
Hmm.
go to these meetings, you be quiet and you listen, you take notes. You
That's
don't.
right.
So I took what she told me, and she works in special education.
Okay.
So when I go in, I have my little book and my little computer, and I already have the documents. I already read the documents. I already read the data. I already read your school bylaws just in case. But I
Hmm.
just be sitting there. And I always tell the parent to listen. And then when it's time, I get what you need because I'm there to get what the kid need if it makes sense. Now I know that sounds crazy. Now if it don't make sense, I'm gonna silently tell the parent, you know, the
Mm-hmm.
school was right. You know the school right, right. You know, that goal makes sense. You know that, right? Okay, now let's go back. But if the parent is right,
Mm-hmm.
go that, and I get what they need because at the end of the day, when you look at our kids in the school system, these teachers are overworked. They're underpaid and they're not respected. And I love my special education teachers because they work so hard. And those documents, the IEP, the 504 plan, are legal documents.
They
It's
are.
a contract. And a lot of parents don't even know that. I just had a client tell me that. I said, huh? You didn't know that? And then when we get into the ideal law, most parents don't even know what that is. And it comes from two things. One,
Mm-hmm.
if you don't have a special needs baby, you wow, you didn't know that. Number two, when your kid get into the special education program, like why would the school tell you how to check them legally? I don't have those problems. I'm good over here. My kid is fine. I don't have those problems. To the point where I don't know if I can say this. To a point where it was kind of a loophole created. I swear
Mm-hmm.
it was, but I'm not gonna say what it is because I'm not trying to get anybody in trouble. But
Mm-hmm.
whatever I need to get, and it makes sense, and the data supports what I'm asking for,
Right.
you're gonna give me what I asked for. Because at the end of the day, this goal supports him in this school system, and I need him to have this. And then when you push back, I always push, what's the data? What do the data say? What do the evaluation say? And once you
That's
come
right.
back to me, I already know what it says. I literally told um I provided this at my son's school. I said, before you tell me, before you call me, see if he qualifies, you don't even have to make that phone call because I personally know he qualifies. I tell her, I said, advocate to the profession she was. You don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
She did not because I told her she didn't have to because I knew what it was going to say. I knew hands down. I talked to her,
Right.
and I'm big on this. I want you to talk to me as a colleague, not a parent. I'm super big on that, and I
Mm-hmm.
love that. I people do respect that. If the
Mm-hmm.
term I don't understand it, I'm going to ask you what did this term mean, and now moving
Right.
forward, use this term with me. That's how you learn. I'm not
That's right.
putting myself in a box. I am not a parent. I'm the parent.
That's right. I love that.
Thank you.
I love that. And I love the way you advocate for your son and so many others, you know?
Thank you.
And just speaking to you, it just brings so much joy to my heart because there are so many parents that's just not present, you know? Um,
Because they're over, I look at it differently. They're overwhelmed. They don't know what to
Overwhelmed.
do. They don't know who to turn
That's
to.
right.
They don't know about grants. Like, think
Hmm.
about it. If the school had a resource list at every school on who they can call, grants, money is out there for us to get
Right.
that you don't even know about. I ain't gonna lie. I get grants for my son. I use it.
Hmm.
I use the grants. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I use them, and I use it for what it's intended to be used for.
That's
I
right.
don't use it for anything besides what is it? Whatever that grant was supposed to be for, I
Hmm.
guarantee Crystal Jordan used it for that particular reason. And when it comes to parents, they're just overwhelmed. Some parents,
But it is.
some parents have, for what I have noticed and what I've been told, acceptance issue. They don't want to accept that their kid is autistic. That's the
Hmm.
bigger problem. And
That is.
when I look at that, I look at it I don't look at it from a judgmental point. I look
No.
at it from the point of when I grew up, I used to hear the R word.
Hmm.
I used to hear the slow bus, the slow
Yep.
word. I
Yep.
oh, that
Same
kid is
here.
slow. I see comments like that, and I be on social media. Oh, they on a slow bus. I unfollow you because that was very ignorant of you.
Right. Right.
That's very ignorant. But number two, that's the environment they grew up in. So what do they know different? So now they're probably thinking, oh, my kid is this. And they're not embracing it because they're so worried about everybody else's opinion versus being a parent and being
Hmm.
and getting the resources they need. Because our kids gonna grow up and be adults. And we have to tackle this now for we can work on skills that they need for when they get older. So
That's
that's how I
true.
look at it. And I was in special education, so I know those words very well. And
Mhm.
I was only in special education for, I don't even know, I think it was a year, but I literally just said to my son's school system, I need to pull my records because I need to see what they have in the system. But I remember those moments and
Mhm.
our words, not towards me, but in general.
Right, right, right. You're so giving, and you pour out to so many different people. And, you can't pour from an empty cup, obviously. So who poured into you?
Not you stop me. I really don't have an answer for that. I mean,
You,
I
how
was
was your support system?
my support system is my mom and dad. That's
Okay,
that's my biggest support system is my parents.
they're the ones who pour into you then.
Okay, I guess they're the ones that pour to me then because they
Mhm.
support my mission, they support my calls. Like today, for example, they are, I don't want to say babysitting because that's not what they look at it as, but they have their grandson today and they
Mhm.
sit down with him and they are my support system. But who pour into me is myself. I make sure I do my self-care, and my
Mhm.
self-care is journaling sometimes, writing,
Mhm.
going running, getting my locks done. I love when my locks are done. And getting my feet done. I love getting my feet done. And that's it. Because I'm single, so that what pours into me is myself. Because I
Okay,
learned a long time ago, I cannot advocate and push for my child if my cup is empty or half full because
that's right.
it's not healthy. I learned that. I learned that baby when he was, ooh, my book was out at that time. I had
Mhm.
to be like 3 or 4, and it was 4 years ago. I had just lost my cousin, and
Mhm.
I was I was not okay. I was on autoplane, but I pour into myself to answer your question. But my
Mhm.
support system, my village, consists of two people, and that is my mom and my dad.
That's awesome.
I love them. They
That's
are
awesome.
amazing.
So how can my listeners support your work or get involved in what you have going on?
So you guys can follow me on all social media as I am Crystal Jordan. My name is spelled the old school way, Crystal, CrystalJordan on all platforms. How you can follow me. You can buy my books at ZachariWord.com or on Amazon, Barnes& and Noble, or Walmart.com. Is
Mhm.
that my books are literally everywhere. And if you want to do bulk orders and you want to put my books in school systems, libraries, daycares, or have them at your organizations or whatever you want to do it from, you can go to ZachariWord.com and you see book order tab. Now, let's
Mhm.
say you want to be a part of my projects. I have so many projects coming up, you guys. I'm going to briefly touch them. I
Yes,
have
please
a
do.
nonprofit coming, and that nonprofit is for me to focus on parents because I want to pour into parents. I want to be the resource for parents. Number two, I am dropping a community for moms. Um, that's all I'm gonna say about that because I realized that everybody don't have a village. My village is my parents, but what if I didn't have my parents? Who would be my village?
Right.
So that's really deep for me. Number three, I am working on a documentary. The documentary is featuring other moms on this journey, being moms to autistic kids. We all are different. I'm an advocate. I have another advocate. I have another mom who barely talks about her kid being autistic. And the reason why I I picked her in particular is because I feel like she's more relatable than me because I am loud with it. I'm out here advocating. That's not every parent. That's not every
That's
parent's
right.
story. It's more parents like her who do not talk about her kid. I'm not gonna say disability, but talk about his condition
Right.
as loud as me. I'm not saying she don't talk about it, but it's not as loud as me. And lastly, I am dropping an autism focused magazine to feature autistic individuals, doctors, lawyers. You have to be connected to autism in some form to be featured. But
Mm-hmm.
is the next thing I'm working on in the autism space, y'all. And I have more, but those are the three top things I'm working on.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, I love that word.
You wear many hats. Now with publishing, like you also publish, you help the moms and
I
the grandmothers with
do.
publishing too. So you want to speak on that?
Sure. So I have another platform. It's called Sisterhood Publishing. I help moms and grandmoms become published
Mhm.
authors. Because think about it, I'm a mom and I became a published author, and your book can be used in so many different ways to get speaking gigs, podcasts, and people don't realize how powerful your story is. Everybody's story is so powerful. Why not publish that book?
That's
Now, I'm not
right.
saying I don't just help. I'm not saying I don't help other people, but I
Hmm.
do my thing. I want to focus on moms and grandmas. I want you to write them recipe books. I want you to tell that story about how your grandkid won't let you comb his hair, like stuff like that. Because it's probably somebody else going
Right.
through the same thing. So
Yeah.
yeah. And when I started this journey in 20, and I started this in 2020, y'all, during COVID, I started to write. And as of 2024, I think I have about 20 books published. About It's up there.
Whoa.
It is up there. It's
Congratulations.
cute. It's so many. Like, I'm gonna show you some.
Yeah. If you have the books there, show me. Yeah.
I have so many. And then, but this is the baby that. This is the superstar
I
that's.
love it.
Yep. I have so many books. Books for writing, cause I wrote books to target my son.
Hmm.
They grow with him, honestly. But I'm trying to write novels next year about not fun stuff, adult stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Thank
Good.
you. Oh, and my last thing before I forget, because
Hmm.
this was highly requested, and
Okay.
I guess I have to do it. I'm also going to finish writing my book on how to advocate for your autistic child.
Yes.
I have been asked so many times. I heard it. So that's also the fourth project I'm working on this year. When it's dropping, I can't give y'all. I don't want to say April because April I
Hmm.
have three major projects dropping in April. So I don't know when that book is going to drop, but it's
Hmm.
going to drop next
But
year.
it's coming.
Yes.
Cute. So, is there anything else you'd like to share with my audience that we haven't touched base on?
Okay. If you are a parent and you are listening to this podcast, I want you to say this affirmation with me. I want you to say your name and say, I am enough. So I'm going to say my name and you're going to say your name and you're going to say what I say.
Hmm.
I am Crystal Jordan and I am enough. And then I want you to say that 3 times. And the reason why I picked that affirmation for this particular podcast, because sometimes we go through life thinking that we're not enough. We go through life thinking, oh, we could have did this better. I should have did this last night. I should have did that. No, you are enough in that season that you're in. And sometimes we don't understand the season and the purpose that God has put in our life, but it's okay because once again, I'm Crystal Jordan and I am enough. And once you realize you are enough, you will start to cut off things that no longer service you and you will start to advocate for your child.